Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I've received a number of questions from beginner scrappers asking me if it was worth their time and energy to strip all appliance wire for the copper. Copper is an excellent source of scrappable material. It is at a great price and it continues to climb, and in my opinion it is going to continue climbing due to the need of copper. However, I will say that not all copper wire is worth your time and energy or monetary value stripping it. There is some wire, if you remove the coating on it, you are actually going to lose a lot of weight and also price that you would have got from leaving it intact. So what I want to do today is actually a small experiment on some of the wire that I got out of a recent teardown of a wall oven. There are definitely some different cords, and there are definitely different categories of appliance wire. I do also want to mention that I have another video, and I will include the link to that one in my description. But I do show a number of different wire you're going to find while scrapping: extension cords, Christmas lights, higher gauge wire like construction wire that you will find. And I do actually do an experiment showing you the value of it stripped and unstripped to show you if it's worth it. Keep in mind the prices obviously have changed due to when I released that video. But again, it's hopefully a helpful hint to show you that not all wire is worth stripping. I do also want to mention that some wire, appliance wire, there are different categories. We have at a scrapyard 40% appliance wire and 60% appliance wire. And they are totally different values. A scrapyard will look at two things when they are deeming if it is what category. They look at copper to plastic ratio and copper recovery. Something like this cord here, this is a great power cord that came out of a dehumidifier. This right here, as you can see inside, there are 3 strands of wire that are coated. So it has 3 strands that are coated, as well as an additional outer coating. This right here, because there is more plastic, this is going to give me my 40% appliance wire value, and is currently going for $1.17 a pound in London, Ontario. So it's a great price, but it is definitely a different value than something like this. This is right here a single cord. You see one coating of plastic. There is the beautiful copper inside. Because there is more copper, less plastic, this is actually going to be 40% appliance wire, and this is currently going for $2.21 a pound. So an excellent price, and about $1.05 more than my other wire. So this is the wire that came out of my wall oven. These 4 strands actually came out of a metallic and magnetic coating like this, so I did remove them. If I didn't remove them, I'm not going to get my 60% appliance wire, so they're easy to remove. And these are what I'm going to focus on stripping. Inside my wall oven, I did get some smaller strands like this. You will commonly find strands like this in your microwaves, other appliances that run down once you remove the panels. And this is the stuff, in my opinion, that is not worth stripping. As you can see, they all are copper, but these are going to be very hard to open, very bendy, so a lot less copper recovery in these, as well as some items like this. Sometimes scrap yards will not even put this into their 60% appliance wire because there is very little, as you can see inside there, of copper. So some of this stuff like this, I actually just throw off to the side. I will throw this into my low-grade wire. You do also want to make sure this stuff that you remove the plastic off of the brass. A lot of scrap yards, especially like this, here is some plastic that you see on here too. I will cut this part off because I don't want it to be downgraded. But this stuff, as I said, even in my hands here, very light. This doesn't even weigh 2 ounces. So this is not going to be worth stripping. I would rather just throw this into a container. Once I remove, as I said, the necessary things like this relay box, this is going to be my 60%, and I'm going to leave it as is. Okay? So this stuff is what I'm going to focus on. And I am also going to address another question I had a lot of people ask about: a stripper, wire stripper. This is my Stripmeister. I have shown this in a lot of videos. It definitely comes in handy I can easily, break down and strip wire effectively. This cost me about $200 Canadian, and it's definitely paid back in money. It is drill powered. There are more expensive machines. There are definitely more inexpensive machines, but this is the one that is right for me. And the reason I wanted to strip this is because this is, as you can see inside, a nice bit of copper. It does have some strength to it. So again, I want to factor this one in for this experiment. This wire, this is a not BX. There are categories of metallic coated wire that you will find in construction sites. This is not BX. BX is its own category, and the wire is definitely more thick. So you definitely want to check. You can see that is magnetic. So I am going to throw this into my tin. There is about 3-4 pounds worth of tin here. So that's great. If it was BX, non-magnetic, it's either going to be aluminum or stainless steel. And you definitely want to check. Grinder, if you hit it with a grinder and it sparks, it's going to be stainless steel. If it doesn't spark, it'll be aluminum. But because this is magnetic, this is going to be tin, and it's going for about 6 cents a pound. So at least it's better than nothing. Definitely better than going to a scrapyard. The wire that I have here to start, I do have 1 or 2 more strands here just to show you how easily and effective it is to strip it. Is right here. The total that I had from this originally was 1 pound 4 ounces. So it would be worth about $2.30 as is. Okay, so there is a little bit of waste here, obviously, once I strip it. But I am going to do these 2 strands. So these both came out of it. Notice some of them do have some nice brass connections. You do have to make sure you cut those off if you're going to put this in your wire stripper. And that's okay because this is still going to give me brass. I put these plug-ins into my brass pile. And obviously that does add up too. So brass right now is going for $2.25 a pound. Someone, another video comment asked, do I have to remove the copper off of here? I do have to remove a little bit of the wire, which I did right there. But they asked, is it okay to have copper on brass to get copper price? The rule is you can have copper on brass, but not, you can have brass on copper. Sorry, my bad. You can have copper on brass, but not brass on copper. Whoa, that's a mouthful. So any type of brass that has copper on it, you are going to get brass price. If you were trying to throw the copper that has brass on it into your copper, it's not going to happen. So like I said, sorry about that little mix up there, but there's some nice clean brass. Okay, so going to show you a couple things. I'm going to do this strand first. And a couple things about these wire strippers. This is my lowering and raising deck. I've already set it up. But when you are doing low gauge wire like this, you do have to be careful of where you set the cutter blade. If I set it too low, it's actually going to start cutting some of the wire. So I don't want it to break the wire off in little pieces. Okay, so I'm going to just feed that through. Sometimes they say that to make one little pass. I'm going to make one more little pass. Make sure I take it down a little bit. All right, so nice thing you can see right there. Just going to open it. There is my copper. And look how beautiful this copper is. Okay, so this copper right here, even though it's bright and shiny, some people say that looks like Bear Bright. Yes, it is the color of Bear Bright, but in order to be classified as Bear Bright, the wire has to be thicker than 16 gauge. And as you can see, every one of these strands is not 16 gauge. 16 gauge is about the thickness of the lead of a pencil. Okay, if I was to cut too deep into that, and I did that for this one just to show you, look at the little jagged edges there. I folded it up, so it does break the wires. Okay, so you do want to be careful. Inside you can see there is my little pieces that broke off, very sharp. So you got to be careful when you're looking at deeper or singular gauge, smaller gauge wire in terms of using your cutting deck. Okay, gonna run this one through. Watch how easy this is, and I had to show this because I had a viewer say that it's not worth their time. Watch how nice this is. So just gonna tighten that, run it right through. All right, let's see how good that was. Make sure I didn't cut too deep. Look at this. Boom. Hey, look at how beautiful that wire is. So that did not take me a lot of time at all. Okay, there is my wire. Okay, there's my wire. I'm gonna first factor in right here, this is my garbage. Okay, so I said from the get-go, I said $1 or 1 pound, 4 ounces. Here's my scale. I'll weigh it here just so I can show you. So my weight, put it at 0. So from 1.4, I have 4.1 ounce. So I should have in this bucket about a pound. So I've lost 4 ounces from the garbage. And this has already been calibrated. So I have 16.4 pounds. So I have a pound here. So that honestly took me, doing all 4 of them, about 5 minutes, not even. So I went from $2.25, $2.30 to now what is #1 price at $4.41 in the matter of about 5 minutes. So I doubled my value in 5 minutes. So in my opinion, that was definitely worth it, that thicker gauge. Okay, so you definitely, as I said, want to check your gauge. Anything that does have some type of bend like this, for sure. So some appliance wire, definitely worth it. As my other video will show you, these types of cords, not worth it. Microwaves, vacuum cleaners, all of those things, not worth your time to cut off the outer coating because you're going to lose a lot of weight to that. So it is not going to factor in. You've got your lower gauge. So again, I'm not even going to try this stuff in my stripper or hand stripping it because this is very, very light and my time is also valuable. I could be using it to strip other things. So a short video. Again, this was from a wall oven. I do have the teardown of a wall oven on another video, so I will also include that one. But hopefully that answered the question. Yes, some appliance wire, thicker stuff is definitely worth it. The lower stuff that you find, inner guts, definitely not. You have to look at it, obviously, in terms of how much plastic is on it. Short video, obviously. Hopefully that answered the question. Again, go check out my other video to show you which ones are worth stripping, which ones are not. Please continue asking those questions. I will do my best to answer them and show you some of my techniques. I appreciate the feedback as well as the support. I did also have a comment from someone about my mustache. So again, just for Movember, this is not permanent, but thank you for that. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.